Chat. So the Ravens got a new coach, and I'm starting to. I can't even talk. We're starting to tap into our defensive back. It's off season a little bit. Super Bowl is like in what 2 weeks, but it's a little off season a little bit, and I'm gonna get more into these videos where we have to learn the game more. Like if y'all want to learn the game, we just want to learn the game together. How about that? But yeah, I want to learn the type of defense that it's it's been passed on, I guess, a little bit because Donald, he was at the Ravens. Then Jesse Minter came and ran a certain defense. So like it's all, and Zach Orr even is a part of that tree where they run kind of like the same defense in general. So I'm gonna go ahead and learn a little bit more about what the Ravens will be running in general, and just learn the history of defense in general. But we do this live on Twitch. If you want to pull up, link will be below. Let's do it, chat.
Problem. Well,
Defense.
really, the Ravens' defensive staff had a problem.
Ooh.
As he tells it, back when he was
Cover
a
one though,
assistant
I don't know,
with the
bro.
Ravens in
Cover one scares
2018,
me.
They were trying to simplify their bloated defensive play sheet.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens have a rich history of excellent defense, but this meant that they just kept adding concepts until.
Wait, hold the fuck up. Mike McDonald's the Ravens. I forgot, bro. Since 2018, bro. That's almost 10 years ago, bro.
They were
That's 8
trying
years
to
ago.
simplify their bloated defensive play sheet. The Ravens have a rich history of excellent defense, but this meant that they just kept adding concepts until the weight of their playbook was slowing them down.
Yeah, okay.
It was complicated for the players to run and unwieldy for the coaches to adjust.
That's something I'm learning a lot about, like defense in general, bro. A lot of like when Lanning came to Oregon, they implemented a whole defensive scheme, and like it's like the kids couldn't get it, so they had to simplify a little bit. So it seems like when you let these players play free and fast, it's like a little bit better for them, and put in like the little concepts as time goes. But when you try to put on too much shit, it just like clogs your brain in general. So I'm starting to learn that now. That's actually interesting.
This unique problem prompted the Ravens to completely reinvent how they would teach and play their defense, and that innovation is now taking the league by storm. Mike McDonald really embraced this change, went back to college to develop it, and brought it back to the NFL. There are now 5 teams across the league that run a Mike McDonald system, and I would expect that number to continue to grow. Because this system works. In 2024, 4 of the top 12 defenses by points allowed were from this new wave of Ravens coaches.
Oh,
the
shit.
Chargers, Dolphins, Ravens, and Seahawks all.
Anthony Weaver, Jesse Minter might be down on the Ravens. Okay, and Zach Orr, I guess, yeah.
Ranked in the top 12. Despite the Chargers and Ravens having secondary issues, the Dolphins being decimated by injuries, and the Seahawks shuffling their entire linebacker core. Just looking at these rosters, these were probably not top 12 defenses, but this scheme did a ton of heavy lifting.
I'm excited.
So what did they do? How did the Ravens rework their system to dominate the NFL?
I remember this game.
Well, they changed how they make a play call. A traditional defensive call is simple, or at least as simple as anything in the NFL gets. If we look at this play from the Seahawks 2013 play,
bro, it's chat. I'm learning plays, so like this should look a little
Look, we can see this zone pressure. This is left-right crash 3 palms. You have a corner blitz to create a 5-man pressure with a 3-3 fire zone behind it. It's a good play. But the issue that you have as a defensive coordinator is you have to be very selective about your play calls. This playbook only had 25 different zone pressures, which does sound like a lot, but it really isn't. Teams are constantly steadying what you're doing, and experienced quarterbacks are going to be able to start to recognize these pressures based on their film study.
Bro,
you would love to have more calls to make things more complicated for the offense, but when you look at the 15 to 20 different checks that each of these pressures has to different alignments and different
make my head hurt.
you start to see the load that is placed on your defenders.
Bro, that's why some people think football players are stupid, but I don't think football players are stupid, bro. I just think they act stupid. But if y'all been around a football player, bro, some of them act a little stupid. But bro, this is very hard to learn. A normal human being, bro, this is very hard, bro.
The defense always has to react and adapt to what the offense is doing, and that means you'll constantly be struggling to add more concepts without overloading your players. And that right there is the problem this Ravens staff solved. According to Mike McDonald in a coaching clinic that he did, the Ravens built their defensive calls in a completely different way in order to expand the playbook. Instead of teaching plays, the new Ravens system teaches components. They start by teaching the fronts that they are going to use. These are the ways that they will align their players. Next, they teach the pressures, and lastly, you have the coverages on the back end. The Seahawks playbook.
I know a lot of players who were smart, but bro, I just think like getting all of this is like it's a lot. So I feel like you gotta be some type of smart to like learn this.
They are going to use
because they care about this.
They will align their players. Next, they teach the pressures, and lastly, you have the coverages on the back end. The Seahawks playbook, like most traditional defensive playbooks, have specific plays with the formations, pressures, and coverages all linked together. Again, go back to left-right crash 3 palms that we looked at earlier. You have the blitz, the coverage, everything is all paired together to create one play. And if you want to change anything about that play, well, you just need to create a completely new play. But in Mike McDonald's playbook, the formations, pressures, and coverages are not tied together. He can call the same pressure from any formation with any coverage behind it. That probably still doesn't make much sense, but let's see it in action. I have a few simulated pressures
so you
can
change one of 3
to the offense, but are still technically called the same pressure name. This is what Mike McDonald calls nail. It is a blitz from the nickel.
We're not going to do a lot of talking this one. We're just going to listen because this is good information.
Field side with the edge rusher from the other side dropping into coverage. We can clearly see this against the Lions. From a traditional 4-2-5 alignment, instead of just rushing their 4 down linemen, the Seahawks blitz Devin Witherspoon from the top of the screen and drop Travis Gibson into coverage. This is called a simulated pressure. You're still rushing 4 defenders and having 7
but you just change
coverage, but it presents like a blitz to the quarterback.
Bro, chat, if y'all ever, the best simulated defense I've ever seen is the Georgia defense that won like national championships, bro. That fucking team, bro. That simulated pressures that he was running, oh my fuck, bro. And the players was like hella fast. Like, they were on it. I don't know if it's the Georgia jerseys or whatever the fuck, but they just look like they were on it all the fucking time. Like, that's the greatest defense running simulated pressures that I ever seen. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
See this nickel adding on to the rush. Behind this pressure, the Seahawks are running a pretty standard match cover 3. Again, the pressure here is called nail. Now let's watch the Seahawks run nail again, this time against the Dolphins. And so again, this is the same pressure, but they're running it from a different front with a different coverage behind it. This is on 3rd and 16.
Yep, Glenn Schumann,
an all-out blitz.
Glenn Schumann, Muschamp, and Landon. You got to add Landon in there, bro.
Behind it.
It was Landon's all defense too.
16, and the front threatens an all-out blitz. But the actual
Landon was a DC, wasn't he? Okay, I need to stop pausing.
But they're running it from a different front.
So blitz on a different side. Okay.
This is on 3rd and 16, and the front threatens an all-out blitz. But the actual design of this
whenever they won the championship, the last one they won.
The nickel, this time Rayshon Jenkins, is blitzing, and the edge on the opposite side is dropping into coverage. They're again rushing with 4 and covering with 7, but the wildly different presentation makes this look like a completely different concept.
Okay.
For the Seahawks, this is the same blitz. They're making the exact same pressure call. It's just dressed up with a different front and a different coverage on the back end. I have one more for us to look at. This time, the Baltimore Ravens are running the same concept. One player blitzes and another down lineman drops into coverage.
No, he wasn't. That was his last year. That was last year. At what do you call it? That was the year that he got hired. So before they won it, he was still like he was finishing his job off. But that was last year.
Ravens are running the same concept.
Yeah, it was, bro.
Blitzes and another. I have one more for us to look at. This time, the Baltimore Ravens are running the same concept.
Nah, that's crazy.
Blitzes and another down lineman drops into coverage. Now, this time the blitzer comes from.
Let's get back to business.
The edge rusher. I'm not sure if this is an adjustment to the concept or if they have a completely different word for it. That's really kind of the point of this scheme. You really have no idea how they got to what they're running. But again, they're running nail, and it does a great job of creating the pressure. I'm learning new shit. Every defense uses consistent terminology to refer to their fronts, pressures, and coverage.
So you can just change the front.
Makes learning plays easier. But that's not what Mike McDonald is doing. Traditional systems teach terms to help players learn and understand the plays. The vocabulary is a way to facilitate the teaching of the plays. But for Mike Macdonald, he doesn't teach plays. He teaches concepts, and then he teaches how to build those concepts into plays. That is the difference.
Okay, elaborate more.
That difference solves the complexity problem. If Mike Macdonald had just 4 fronts, 4 pressures, and 4 coverages, which, to be clear, I'm sure he has way more than that in the playbook, but even if he just had that, that would be 64 different zone pressures.
Jesus Christ.
And remember, one of the best defenses of all time in the 2013 Seahawks had just 25 in the playbook that we looked at. When Mike Macdonald talks about
make it simple, it works.
His guys and complicated for opposing offenses.
Ooh, gotta catch that pick, bro.
But there's even more benefits about the way that these coaches have built and taught this scheme. Because of their deep playbook, it gives the defensive play caller a lot of different wrinkles that they can use in their game plan. It's almost
okay. Let me think. Okay, so from what we just learned, so we can go. So instead of blitzing one of the corners, you can blitz like a linebacker, right? From the edge, like say you send a middle linebacker, whatever. You blitz a middle linebacker, and you can still pressure 4 and drop 7, and you just gotta drop someone else. So it just depends on how you gotta call it. Okay, I'm kind of getting a little bit.
Advantage for these play callers in the system because there's so many different buttons that they can press. They just have way more flexibility to counter what offenses are attacking them with.
So how would you call
in
that,
an interview
though?
After the Seahawks played the Chicago Bears, edge rusher Uchenna Nwosu said, "We literally installed some on the field." He's talking about installing plays on the field. In a traditional defensive system, that would seem ridiculous. But in a Mike Macdonald system, where players are taught individual components and the rules for how to put them together,
are you rushing?
It is
rushing
somewhat
3? No, you're rushing 4. So you're sending. That's just what I was talking about, like something like this.
Individual components and the rules for how to put them together.
So they're blitzing the corner and middle linebacker drop. And is this a safety? What is
reasonable
this? I think middle linebacker too. Okay.
Them to run something that they've practiced all week, but maybe from a different front or with a slightly different coverage on the back end. That is what this system allows defensive play callers to do. So to summarize, the Mike Macdonald defensive revolution simplifies learning the playbook. It gives your defensive coordinator a plethora of different options and adjustments that he can use, and it allows you to constantly confuse offenses with your endless stream of different looks.
Because you just know who's coming from where.
The system adds that really makes everything come together. These coaches teach every player, every position in their pressures. Let's watch this play from the Chargers that really shows this. The Chargers have 5 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage, which is fairly common, but let's look at their interesting personnel. They have their excellent edge rushers on the outside, but on the interior, they have a defensive tackle, another edge rusher in a stand-up role, and a linebacker. That gives defensive coordinator Jesse Minter extra speed on the inside for this pirate stunt. Usually this would be a nose tackle, but by replacing them with an edge player, Tui Pelotu is able to flush the quarterback and force him out of bounds.
He's also an
edge. Just like everything else in the scheme.
But then Drake May just made the play work by scrambling rolling out to the fucking right-hand side, bro.
Force him out of bounds. Again, just
bro, the fact that he just moved right into his lane.
In the scheme, it makes things more confusing for the offense and gives the defensive coordinator even more flexibility. We've established that this scheme is effective, but how do you teach it? Compared to traditional defenses that all of these players have been running, this is a big change. Building these novel yet essential concepts for the scheme, such as how to pair a front with a certain pressure, is something that these coaches need to start working on immediately when they arrive in the building. Mike Macdonald calls this drill pressure stations. This is a foundational drill for the system, and Mike Macdonald likes to do it in the spring to start building these skills long before the season starts. In this drill, groups
how does he have access to every fucking That's crazy.
Players will be tasked with running one pressure from a variety of different fronts. Each station would have one coach and only one pressure to work through, but they would intricately go through how to line up and who is coming. The goal is to get quick reps in a ton of different pairings of these concepts. Players can't be thinking on the football field, and they need to know exactly who is coming. Only one pressure to work through, but they would intricately go through how to line up and who is coming. The goal is to get quick reps in a ton of different pairings of these concepts. Players can't be thinking.
It's good that these players have
field, and they need to know exactly what is happening at any given.
They got reps of this already
too. This is the building blocks for how to make that happen. Once these players begin to master the drill, then the coaches take it to the next level. They first start by calling any pressure from any formation. This makes the drill a little bit more realistic and forces the players to be ready for anything. Once they start mastering that, then the coaches start changing everyone's positions and things get really complicated really quickly. This entire pressure station drill is built to get quick and cheap reps. This system needs to be heavily front-loaded so that all of the players are comfortable with how these plays are built as fast as possible. Communication is essential for every defense, but particularly with one that is as modular as this one, it becomes even more paramount.
Okay. Bro, I'm learning, chat. I'm learning. Oh, my God.
The NFL is a league of evolution. Nothing is ever really new, but it's just an iteration on something else. And this Mike Macdonald system is no different.
But who's dropping on this one?
Just an iteration on something else.
So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he just sending a blitz. Nobody dropped though. It's just sending 5 people. Okay.
Is no different. Macdonald himself has often.
I'm thinking about the same play we just
with a lot of the blitz designs that he uses, and of course he built off of a long pedigree of blitz designs
as I said,
that he uses, and of course he built off of a long pedigree of blitzing Ravens defenses. But the true defensive revolution is more than just a new scheme. It's a new way to teach defensive football. And that is why Mike Macdonald disciples are starting to take over the NFL. Throughout NFL history, there's of course constant evolution as defenses have to adjust to how offenses are attacking them. But more than just the new hot defensive scheme, adjust.
I'm over here looking at just the one play. They sent 1, 2. They sent offense. Oh, you did drop Leonard Williams. 1, 2, 3. They sent 5 though.
Attacking them. But more than just the new hot defensive schemes like the Fangio system a few years back or the Seattle Cover 3 system, this one will adapt and change. It's not just a new way to run your coverages, it's a new way to teach football. Schemes come and go, but this is more than just a scheme. This is a new methodology, and that is going to stick around. Thank you so much for watching.
W video, man.
More Legion
chat
content. Go check out the Patreon.
Chat. W video because it gives more into what Minter's going to do in general. But also, I wish I could ask him a question. If I could ask him a question, I would be like, how? So with the play that he taught us in general, how would it call it, and how would each player know who is pressure and who's dropping? Like if it's what was it? It was like palm something. Hold on. Where is it? Right here. So it was. No, it wasn't right here. Was it? Hold on. Let me see it. I don't know if I can find it. Let's see if we can find it, chat. Hold on. The Dolphins, blah, blah, whatever. The play call right here. This one. So, this one crashed 3 pumps. So, how do you, if he wants to drop, let's say, if you want to switch it, I'm assuming they'll say flip. So, if you want to drop this DN, nose tackle, whatever, if you want to drop him out and blitz him, how would they say, oh, crash, blah, blah, blah. Like, I wonder what type of terminology they say to then he knows that he's dropping out, you know. But if anybody has any answers to that, let me know. But I really enjoyed watching this video. I ain't gonna lie. Taught me more about football in general. But chat, I appreciate y'all. Comment what y'all thought about this video. Shout out to Legion of 12s. Really good insight in general. But I appreciate y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos.